Hello, here is BB Walker. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will talk a little bit about recording gear. I mean, recording using different kind of gears like mixers, like audio interfaces on handy digital recorder. So if you are interested in recording from multiple sources, all the gear you have, synth, keyboard, loopers, guitars, or whatever you have, like violin or something, just please stay tuned and we will start very soon. Alright, so we are in our super study mode, and as I said in the intro, today's video will be about recording gear, about setup and stuff, what you can buy or what you can obtain to have high quality recording for multiple sources. Of course, if you watch my channel from quite some time, you may have noticed that I have used different configuration setup for my recording. Of course, if you are only want to record your Yamaha keyboard, for example, you could use a built-in USB recorder. This is the best way, because if you don't want to combine different sources, the best way, the simplest way to record your performance, left hand, right hand, and you can do it using this device. This is the best quality because the wave file, the stereo wave file, will be recorded on the USB memory stick. So after recording, you take this memory stick to computer and then play with final arrangement, add some vocals and so on and so on. If you are interested in this method, check the video, of course, in the description, and I will link a card. There will be appropriate video how to do this. But today's topic is a little bit more complicated, because mostly if you are practicing with a band, or so you have multiple audio sources, the mics, the keyboard, digital piano, guitar, whatever else you have. So any audio source that you are recording in parallel, this is very important, in parallel, and you want to grab it on separate tracks. Why grabbing this on separate tracks is so important? Because in the DAW software, you will be able to make the final mix, so adjust volumes, make a correction in the frequencies on each track. For example, add some more bass to the guitar, or add some high frequencies to the vocals, apply some noise reduction, and so on and so on. So there are several methods how you can achieve it. On my video, at the beginning, the simplest way was to use this Zoom H4n Pro recorder. There is a lot of videos that I'm explaining why this is a nice feature. This is very portable feature, and you don't need a computer to use it. It has 4 inputs, 2 combo inputs, which is combo is of course XLR cable or quarter-inch. This is quarter-inch, the mostly common quarter-inch mono, or in Europe it's called big jack, or 6.35 millimeter cable. So you can actually use 4 sources. So it could be one channel from Yamaha keyboard, one channel from the guitar, and 2 mics. And you can record it in multi-track recording, so you have 2 separate stereo wave files ready to play on a computer. What is the advantage of such solution? Well, you don't need a computer for recording stage. You only have this nice box. I would like to show you, but at this moment it's solid and attached to the table. So actually you have this nice small device. You could take it whatever your practice meeting is, and then you can record. After it, you grab your SD card and play in the house, in the home studio with computer. So it's very portable solution. What is the disadvantage? Well, disadvantage is that you are limited to number of inputs, which in this case of this device is 4. However, I know there are bigger version, more expensive, but with higher number of inputs. But it's not so very disturbing disadvantage. The another disadvantage is that you need to take the card from the device and put it into computer on each recording session. Of course, you can record a few hours of recording and then put it into multiple files and edit. But if you want to instantly move from the recorder to the computer, it's not convenient. It's a great if you are more conservative genres of music, so you are recording with guitar, bass, vocals, you are practicing a few hours and then you make a final, let's call it demo, and then you put into computer to some extra stuff doing at the end. So this was the first option there, and it also was my first personal choice. I mean, Zoom H4n Pro I was using mostly for quite some time because I have Yamaha keyboard, looper, and 2 mics at most. So I was using 3 channels, sometimes 4 channel multi-track versus 4 channel recording. You can check the video in the description. There is a tutorial how I achieve how to build this solution. So if you're interested, please go forward. The second option is to use the mixer. And this moment I will explain because the next will be audio interface, so we will also explain the differences between analog mixer with USB output versus the audio interface, digital audio interface, which like this Focusrite Scarlett. So basically Behringer Xenix 802 USB, which is very important if you want to play with DLW software, because this is an analog mixer, so it has 2 inputs, just like Zoom H4n Pro XLR or line. So it's not a combo, but you could attach both quarter-inch or XLR. It has phantom power, just like Zoom H4 Pro, which is very important if you want to use a condenser microphones, and it has up to 8 line inputs. So here is input 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, there are for returning loopbacks, and you get control loops and you get main output. Main output on the each mixer, analog or digital or old school only analog, is the stereo output when you usually connect to studio monitors, speakers. Then you can also attach headphones, and you are happy to have equalizer on each channel, compression for those 2, and so on and so on. So they have some processing of the audio signal. But they are analogs, so they can hiss for quite some time if they are not good quality. If the preamps of this are not good quality, the final quality of the recording of the wave files that you can grab using USB, because it also has built-in audio interface, but the main difference between fully featured audio interface like Focusrite, for example, is that this produced only stereo output into computer, so you only have left and right channel, so you cannot record, for example, separate vocal number 1, vocal number 2, guitar, keyboard, looper, synth, hardware synth, whatever you have. You need to attach the levels here and be prepared that if you make a mistake, you need to re-record it, because on the computer you will only have stereo files. So this is main disadvantage if we are talking about cooperation with computer. When this solution is great, I think it's great when you are practicing with someone else. So on the stage, live performance, when you don't want to use computers are bad in real-time performance. Please check the video when I'm explaining why and what problem could which problem could you face if you are recording, doing some performance live with computer. So this is solid. This is reliable. Sorry. So you could attach the effects, add some gain to the specific channel and then put everything on down mix, so stereo mix, so all tracks together somewhere else, or you can also load it. So it is a limited feature versus the Zoom H4n Pro portable recording. Why? Because it has 4 separate tracks, and this at the end, it has 8 inputs, but at the end it has only 2 tracks for final wave file recording on a computer. It is also not portable, so you actually need a laptop if you want to record it, or use an external recorder like my Zoom H4n Pro. But the main advantage is that you have hardware knobs that you can adjust volumes, so you don't need computer, you don't need enter into options on Zoom. So basically the main advantage is that you have these knobs. So this is the solution for recording multi source at the same time into computer. But you must be aware that if you are recording using mixer, everything you done on mixer will be on the final recording, and the overall quality of your recording is the overall quality of your mixer. Because if you are recording behind after processing, here you're recording behind in a computer. Okay, so my last solution is to use the audio interface, and I will show you my setup now. So basically this is Focus Scarlett and 8i6, so it have 8 separate inputs. 6 inputs are here, line inputs, and 2 combo microphone or line inputs are here. And how it works, basically all my gear that you can see now. So for example, this synth, this looper, this Yamaha keyboard, what else do I have here? A Zoom guitar is here, so everything is connected here. And on the computer, as you can see, I have named of course, my 2 mics, Rode and Toner. Then I have a looper, which is PSR, one output from PSR, analog free. Then I have PSR drums, which is the second output of Yamaha. Then I have Novation tracks and the guitar. So all my inputs are used, 6 input at this time. And if I play here, I can hear. If I play synth, I can see synth. And the main super advantage of this solution is that in DAW software, this Focusrite gives you 6 independent channel inputs. So in the Ableton Live, maybe I will start it for a moment, I could map those inputs that I have shown you. Of course, you can, this is a software mixer. So basically, this audio interface with these features, this program, which is Focusrite Control, it's a mixer, but the interface of the mixer is inside the computer. Inside the software, you get knobs. So I will show you again. Sorry for the quality, but in the audio, if you arm the track for recording, as you can see, I get Rode, Toner, looper, drums, tracks, Novation tracks, and my guitar. And you configure it. You could go to audio, input, config, and those are my inputs. And those inputs are provided by the Focusrite Scarlett control, which is pretty cool, and I love it. As you can see now, those knobs allows me to control my volume. So let's start Novation. Of course, it wasn't synchronized. In my setup, I have those all devices synchronized. And why this is good solution for me at this stage, and this is the best what I have found, but it also has some disadvantages that I would like to discuss. So basically the most great advantages is that I have connected it once, as you can see here. I counted my inputs and I know that this model 8i6 is good for me and it's okay. And I don't need another bigger one. There's a version 18i20 or something like this. But I don't need the bigger one because on my current setup, all my gear is covered. I don't want to switch the cables all the time. This is not good for the sockets. This is not good for the cables itself. It could, decrease the quality of the inputs. It gives you some, misconduction or something like this. So I would like to connect everything at once. I don't use all the instrument all the time. Sometimes I play only keyboard, sometimes I play only synths, and sometimes I play only with looper and microphone, for example. But if I want to record them all at the same time in DAW software, I can do it by mapping all my inputs and then selecting inputs in DAW software. It doesn't matter if you use Ableton, FL Studio, or Cubase, whatever you have, Logic Pro. If you are interested more in DAW software, just please give me a comment and we will do some videos. Of course, if you have any more questions about more gear in here, you can also put a comment. So let's summarize. What are the disadvantages of this last solution with audio interface, which is also a mixer, but this mixing console is in the software. So basically the biggest disadvantage is that you need a computer to operate it, to change volumes, to change mappings, and to record, of course. Without a computer, you won't be able to record anything. So the simplest solution, if you're recording long tracks and you don't need to work with computer all the time, so if you don't have a computer in your home studio or you don't want to have this computer there because you don't like mouse and keyboards and and clickings and typing on computer and struggling with drivers, software update, and so on, is to use the Zoom H4n Pro recorder. Why? Because it gives you very reliable form of recording and you don't need to struggle with computer. So yes, I will detach it to show you. So basically I was using all my time before this external mic's input by conversion from stereo mini jack to 2 mono, and then you have those 2 separate tracks. So you're recording here using 4-channel on the SD card, which is here, and after I finish my work, I remove it, put into computer and play. So this is cool solution if you don't need more than 4 channel and you don't want to use computer all the time because switching is disturbing. Okay, the second solution that we were discussing was the analog mixer with USB audio interface. So this is a combination of of analog mixer with knobs and corrections and the USB audio interface socket B, which you connect to computer, and then you have one stereo track for recording. There is a little bit latency, some problems, but the advantage, solid hardware, can be used on a stage without recording. If you only want to hear the speakers to have some practicing with your band, it's cool. You don't need to record all the time. So it is also good for, speakers and setup of the audio in a stage. Such a mixer. It's a mixer plus USB audio interface in one box, but this audio interface is limited because it doesn't have separated tracks. So the final solution is, in my case of course, Focus Scarlett, which is audio interface. The disadvantage is that I need to use the computer all the time because it's not a standalone device. I know there are devices that combine all those things together, so they look like this and they have multiple inputs, and the outputs to the computer USB are also low latency separated tracks. If I remember, Zoom L12 is a model for such a console with all the inputs and outputs to the computer, but the disadvantage is the price, of course. We are talking here about home recording, semi-professional, not super professional stuff. But you, if you have more devices, you have this free possible solution, which was good for me. And during the time when I was expanding my number of gears, the Zoom H4n Pro doesn't meet my expectation because I need more inputs. So after switching to mixer, I was having some problems because of course you can mix 2 channels and then feed the Zoom H4n Pro, but the quality of this mixer doesn't meet my expectations. So now at this time I'm using it only for speakers, for hearing the sound. I'm not using it for recording. I'm recording using digital audio interface or built-in devices. If the device itself, I don't need more tracks separated and synchronized, I could use the built-in recorder in the device. Just like in Looper, there is also you can also grab the WAV files and put it into computer. There is also a video about this topic. So if you are interested in my channel, recording gear and stuff, I know in the last survey you mostly answered for the keyboard, so there will be more video about keyboards. So please give your topics below this video as a comments. Thanks for watching. It was BB Walker. If you like this channel, consider subscribe. If you don't subscribe it yet. Have a nice weekend, have a nice day. See you later. It was BB Walker.